All right, well, here we are again, Wednesday night. What we've got to offer is really just the way we hear the message, not the message itself. So, from my understanding, the message of non-duality is being ourselves reality. Um, the seeker is the sought. What's looking is what you're looking for. That's the given, so to speak. We start there. And then the conversation or the direction turns to what we're not, obviously, because what we're not seems to be what we are. So, how can what we are be what we are when it seems not to be to what you're not? That's a long mouthful. So, the most important point is to see what you're not. You already are what you're looking for. So, therefore, you've reached the goal that you hope looking for would arrive at. You already are that. Yeah. What's looking is what you're looking for. So you've won, so to speak. Now let's look at what we're not. And what we're not isn't an exact statement, because there isn't a not you and a you. There just is. But there's an activity that we've been listening to for a while, or there's a listening to it, and that activity implies we're a someone. Yes. And that someone is referred to and presented as a body. And therefore, we feel that, say, consciousness is coming through, but it's still Paul that's conscious. So Paul as the body is what's conscious. When the original statements I would hear in non-duality was that all there is consciousness. So how could Paul be conscious if all there is consciousness? Yes, there would be consciousness. But the idea that Paul is conscious is the narrating point that most of us start from. And so if you started a game board at square 4, it would look maybe completely different than from square 0. So it could be interpreted greatly without that anchoring of square 0. Square 4 could lead to square 12. It doesn't matter. Yeah, there would be no rhyme or reason. And anything would go, basically like what's not happening. Anything can happen in what's not happening. What's happening has one quality what's not happening doesn't have, which is it's happening. That's its leavening agent. That's its fact. That's the assumption of non-duality. From there, you turn and look at what the misassumptions are and the misunderstandings are. And most things that we meet in life, even spiritual activities, basically include what we're not. What we're not is what's going to be the starting point on the spiritual journey, where non-duality is negating that. It's just negating the whole starting point. And so it doesn't have many opinions about the middle or the getting close to the end. It's just questioning the starting point. Is there a someone that's looking for what it is with what it is? Yeah. Is there or isn't there? You find out. How do you find out? By seeing what you're not. When you hear the message, you start looking at what you're not, the activities, and not being you, the activities have completely different effects because they wait for you to react, and you are the effect to the interpretation we're listening to. The selfing does not produce a self. It implies there is one. Yeah. So when you're under the trance of selfing, there's an implying you already are a self. So basically, when the self doesn't seem to be so healthy and feeling a lot of irritability, restlessness, and discontent, and assuming I have power, yet experiencing powerlessness and frustration quite a lot, we want to get out. That would make sense. But what we try to get out of that which we're not in, first of all, but we also try to get out of that as that. Yeah. These are the conundrums. If you don't see that, you're going to keep looking from what you're not. And you're going to be to the point you'll look for what you're not. And the looking that you're using as what you're not is what you are. And you'll be trying to find what you are as what you're not, instead of realizing what you're not and then finding out what you are. Yeah, just a different, it's a movement that's seamless. It doesn't deviate. Negation is negation. Yeah, you look at something that else, you negate its relevance. You negate its alpha and omega. It's not a denial by the system. It's a negation of the system. It's not a denial by the system. It's a negation of the system. It's different. When people hear the message as what they're not, they start trying to deny what they're not as what they're not. It doesn't work. Yeah, I am not a self, so therefore I don't have to go to the court date. Well, then you'll have a bench warrant put out for you, and when they stop you the next time, you go directly to jail. Now, if you tell the policeman, well, there isn't any you going to jail, he'll have a good laugh and he'll take you to jail. And then you're going to have to go to a bail bondsman and you'll say, well, there was no one who was in jail. So this is why am I at the bail bondsman? We say, well, you need to get bailed out. And on and on and on and on and on. That's denying something. That doesn't work. Negating is different. Negation is not negating being in jail. It's negating the one who thinks he's in jail. That's all it is. What's happening is seen very clearly. You're not confused about that. Like in Zen, they would say blue is blue and red is red. You're not confused about it. What you're very clear about is there isn't anyone there. There isn't a doer before the doing. There isn't a seer before the being. There isn't a hearer before the hearing. Therefore, there isn't a you, because you represent being the seer, the hearer, the doer, the feeler. Yeah, that's the negation. It's all. It's not negating. There is this, jail. I mean, it's insane. So the message is very clear. Put aside, the message is being ourselves reality. And then you put that aside, and then you start looking at what thinks it's reality and seeing if it holds any water. That's all. And then you see, you don't look at the problem, you look at the mind of a problem. You see the role of something in the problem. And you see the role of that something in the problem as the biggest problem. Yeah. You start having a recognition of shit you didn't see before. Yeah. Because you're not looking from the system, which has a large amount of blindness to the system. You seeing it from somewhere else. You want to call it raw mind, RAW, or whatever. It's another aspect. Yeah. It's not of the mental realm, so to speak. So you see something that you used to look from. And with the understanding that you've heard at satsangs, hopefully you have they play the role of like a pair of glasses, and now you can see shit that you didn't used to see before. And then there's a truth that's told. Don't tell the truth. There's a truth that's told by the seeing. Yeah. And if this works, you're on to something. Yeah. And you'll come to recognition after something has been recognized. You're like on a delay pattern. You'll realize you're traveling lighter after years. You've been traveling lighter for years, and maybe after 4 months, the head finally gets a sense, hey, I'm traveling lighter. And then that condition, it doesn't have a long enough arm to reach behind and claim it. It's very clear something is happening without its role in it. Yes? It's very, very clear. Incredibly clear. And more the dominoes fall, and there's more dominoes they hit, and more falls. So more is revealed, but what's really revealed is not of you. Yeah. You recognize what you are not from what you are. And really, this what you are is the seeing of what you're not. Truly. Yeah. That's the best you can get to here, is you recognize what you are by seeing what you're not. Yeah. So we were talking with my friend the other day, and he's talking about even resentments are great. When a resentment comes up, it shows me there is no one who has the resentment. So it has value. Yeah. Where before you'd want to get out of the resentment or blame someone. Now he says it just triggers my recognition of what I'm not. Yeah. Because I don't see the my before the resentment. I just see a resentment, just like other shit that comes up. Yeah. It's the mind that's the cloud aspect. Yeah. It's that ownership of stuff we have nothing to do with, really. So this is just a clarity, getting more clarity. First, it brings out into stark contrast the misunderstandings that we've been living on, yeah, without really knowing it. Yes, most of it is unknown, and a lot of systems that are self-help do not bring up those misunderstandings. They actually fit themselves around the misunderstandings. They take into consideration the misunderstandings. It's like what's happening in recovery now. There's a lot of money in recovery and stuff. And so there's these very, very expensive rehabs, and the people pay a lot of money. And now the people who are running the rehabs try to fit the program around the people because they're paying so much cash, instead of doing the correct thing, which is putting the people into the system, into recovery. Yeah. I used to, somehow or another, some French headhunter who had heard me before called me up about a job in Chiang Mai at a big rehab. They wanted me be program director, and I said, I'm not going to direct anything, not a program or nothing. But I've been to Chiang Mai and I like it, so I'm thinking maybe I could go visit and stuff. So I said, no, I don't want to do that, but I'll talk to the people. And I think my friend Clifford would know it. There was a big successful place, and the guy who owned the land got rid of those people, and he wanted to use the land for his own program, his own rehab. Yeah. So he had this other Westerner, and they got on the phone with me, and then they were asking my advice, and I said, well, you got to emphasize service. Yeah. And they go, oh, so should we tailor should we tailor the service to fit each person? No, I said, take the people to a fucking soup kitchen. Yes. Don't freaking tailor the service for the person. Put the person into the program. Yeah. So this is what a lot of systems do. They take the problem into the solution. Yes. And then the problem influences the solution every step of the way. Non-duality is checking your papers at the door. Yeah, it is. And when you say, well, Paul wants to get in, it says Paul can't come in. Until one day, like I used the story about, heaven's door, where the guy goes up with a great spiritual resume, knocks on heaven's door. The door opens immediately, which is pretty off-putting. And there's God. And he goes to God, can I come in? And God says, Paul can't come in. So then he leaves pretty dejectedly, and then he practices more, and he gets a better resume, and he definitely feels like he's just going to flow right in there. Knocks on the door, and God's right there. He says, God, can I come in? And God says, Paul can't come in. Then he just flips out and just gets loaded, and he's fooling around, and he's fornicating and doing everything. Forget about the retreats and shit. And he falls into the river, and he almost drowns, and he gets sucked up onto the shore right near heaven's door. And as he's getting up, something happens. He knocks on the door. There is God again. He says, God, can I come in? God looks at him once again, says, Paul can't come in, and he walks right in because he finally realized he isn't Paul. Yes? He was taking it as a personal rejection. God was just stating the truth. An imaginary person cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. Paul, Steve, Mary, Jill cannot come in. As soon as Paul saw he wasn't Paul, he entered immediately. Immediately. No requirements, no conditions. right there. But as long as he thought he was Paul, he was going to be put out. He was going to be in self-exile, really. Yeah? And this is what happens with satsang. A lot of times people are still thinking they're going to get it. Yeah? No. Knock on the door, and in this case, we'll use Paul as the example of God, and Paul's going to go, you can't come in, David. You're not going to get it. You're not getting it. You're not going to experience it. Yeah. So then David walks away dejectedly, then goes to other teachers, tries to hear something that complies with the way he wants it to be, and he'll find people, and maybe that will work or won't work. He may come back here. He's going to knock on the door, and Paul, am I going to get it? No, you're not going to get it. Yeah. But the other person said, I got it. You're not getting it. There's no way. Oh, well, tell me why. You're it. Yeah? You're already it. There's no way you can have a date of getting it. You're already it. Yeah? And how can you experience? Yeah. You'd have to be something else to experience it. Yes? So this is not on an experiential realm. It isn't. It's not on this experience, or let's say if you have an interruption of being into your linear experience, yeah? And that being, then immediately the head rises and says, I had this incredible experience. No, you were actually there, yeah, at that moment. There was no experience. You were it completely. But the head shows up and says, I had an experience of being. Now I want it to stabilize. I want that to be the way I'm experiencing all day. Well, it is, but not on the experiential level. Yeah. But it truly is. That being that overwhelmed the experiential event is here. Yeah. It's the context of everything. You are that. Yeah. So this is the message. I mean, the way I see it. I just don't feel it's valuable to keep talking about what we are to what we're not. I just don't. I mean, because you can say all you are is consciousness, and who's going to walk out of the room thinking they heard it is the body. The body's going to think it heard, oh, now the body, all I am is consciousness? One more freaking heavy thing to walk around with? Jesus Christ, I've got to practice mindfulness all day to make sure I'm still, because all I am is consciousness. It's insane. I mean, just look at what happened in our groups with the word awakening. It's caused more dis-ease and suffering. Only one other word has been more powerful with that is enlightenment. It has produced more suffering when the definition of enlightenment is cessation of all suffering. So when what you're not hears enlightenment, it does the exact opposite with it. It produces suffering. Can you believe it? We would have been better off. Would you have not been better off just not knowing about awakeness, awakening, or enlightenment? You would probably have had a better day. There wouldn't be this giant force of, I've got to do something else. How the hell am I going to get enlightened? Yeah. It's had happened with me. I was speaking in Dublin, and it was like a week thing with some other teacher. I was just sharing there. And so the people who didn't want to pay for the whole retreat could come on Saturday. So this guy comes in and he goes, Paul, I've been listening to you for a while, and it sounds very easy for you to entertain that you're not a body, but it's impossible for me. I said, yeah, because you're identified as the body. What do you think the body is gonna be able to imagine? It's not a body. You would have disappeared already if you could have. So the message isn't to you. It's not to Angie or a new because I can see you as an obstruction. I can't miss everywhere. All I got to do is get the ball around you with all your. You remember see that thing in India, in mythical India, they have the woman with 1,000 hands. Well, they could all have like baseball mitts on, and it's catching every message. You got to have a one where you can get one buyer, and then it hits almost like spiritual sperm. It releases. And you just keep on keeping on, pounding away. And then the person thinks, I'm going to sit here and think of what I just got. No, more shit. So we get it through with the hope one of those sperm get through to the mother egg, the big M mind. And then it hits the mother egg, and then the mind conceives of something. And the conception is, I'm not that. Yeah. And then the possibility of freedom is readily available. You've been served a spiritual subpoena. Your head is in the tiger's mouth. It's basically a done deal. Yeah? Yeah. So, yes, anyone have a question today or share, whatever?
Sorry, got lost in my computer. No hands yet. And I'm going to show Sargama's picture. That was such a great illustration of what you're talking about.
What?
Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, that's the old one. Yeah.
It's such a great illustration by a friend of ours.
Yes, I remember. I still have that somewhere in the house.
I just love it.
I like the one is very conveniently placed in the right position. The one that
Which
the bottom mitt.
Oh.
That's the PG version. We had another version. Yes. Anyone have anything to say?
Okay. David has raised his hand. Hi, David.
G'day, everybody. I haven't got a question, Paul, but I got a little share, and that's that my memory's getting really, really, really bad, and I'm loving it. Like I left work last night, and I literally got 10 minutes, like on the trip home. It's a half-an-hour trip home, and I couldn't remember what I'd been doing, like all the little mundane things I'd been doing at work. I couldn't remember what I'd been doing an hour earlier. It's just so I spoke about that maybe about a week ago. I said that, but it's getting more frequent, happening all the time. It's a great feeling, That's it. Nothing much.
Good. Oh, great. Thank you, Dave. My cat's trying to get in.
Why is that funny?
It's just her face. Hold on a second.
It sounded cruel at first.
She has very, very expressive eyes.
Yeah.
It was like she was looking at me like the sorrow of 1,000 mothers.
Yeah.
Yes, I was derelict in my duty.
Mm.
If no one wants to ask, I'll just riff on something. This is not in order. I'm just putting out an idea. Selfing is not volitional. There is no one who's selfing. Yeah, there's just selfing, implying a one. It's very clear. It never changes. Selfing implies a one. It never turns into one doing the selfing. Selfing's implying a one. It never turns into one doing the selfing. Yes? So please, it's mechanical. This sense of volition is, you know, the action figure, the programming is drenched in it. Yeah. It can't witness a verb without finding a noun somewhere. It's a very important thing to see, because I find the great possibility can be used by the mental state to produce more guilt and shame. So now I've been selfing all day or whatever. Yes? So please see you can't see volition. It's a feeling or a sense. You'll sense it. Yeah. You'll sense the ownership that my implies. There'll be a sensing, and with the volition in place, you're not going to see things clearly, because you're going to see them as something that you did or should have done. Yeah. That's not seeing clearly. So, and remember, as Trungpa Rinpoche said in his own way, if you don't know who he was a Tibetan monk. Well, not a monk, really. Tibetan drunk, really. He had trouble with alcoholism. But he was a teacher, and he had a famous book, Cutting Through Spiritual Materialism. And on that first page of the book, I don't like the term ego, but he used it. And he says, the first thing you've got to know is the ego is going to take advantage of anything it comes in contact with. So we bring this mental activity into contact with things. And then that mental activity claims them, yes, and interprets them, as the Course in Miracles puts very clearly. Pain interprets to the body of which it is a part, yeah? So what's collating the information that's being gathered, and it's very selectively gathered, has a determination or an agenda, and that is to reinforce this sense of being the doer, the feeler, the thinker, the seer, the haver, the loser, and to keep pumping color into the image of the body. Yes, the body represents being the doer. When you feel like you're the one that's doing, you're pictured as a body. When you're thinking about you 3 years ago, you're pictured as a body. When you're worrying about you in the future, you're pictured as a body. So all that you is made up of is framed or illustrated with the body. Yeah. So the first movement is to claim. If you want to see or get a feeling of life, you could say everything is verbing. Everything is an activity. Yes? Tons of shit happens, but nothing ever really happens. So that verbing, let's say if it was like the Colorado River, and you go there and you get a glass of water out of that river, and you go home and people come over and you say, hey, I got some Colorado River on the mantle there. But basically, by naming it and grabbing it and claiming it, you've lost the essence of it, which is rivering. Yes? You've got the water, you got it in a glass, you think you call it the Colorado River, but you've missed the essence of it. So this is what the head does. It takes seeing and turns it into a seer. Yeah. It takes hearing and turns it into a hearer. Yeah. And then the hearer is matched with the heard. The seer is matched with the seen. And in that polarization, in that duality, the the essence of what's happening is missed, so to speak. And when you, let's say when I was a kid, I wasn't in a violent situation or fearful place. So life was happening. And then down the road, life turned into life's happening to me, which is an interpretation. So basically, the living of life gets replaced with the one who has a life, the story of Paul. And now the verbing that was used by claiming to imply the noun is now preceding all the verbing. So now it's you doing a lot of shit you have absolutely nothing to do with, really. We're listening to this all day, and what are you going to expect? You're going to expect that when you look, you're going to see the cart in front of the horse, all the while the horse is in front of the cart. But you're going to see it as the cart in front of the horse, yeah? You're going to see that I'm moving towards tons of shit, not realizing you're basically moving away from stuff. Your moving towards things is predicated on a moving away from other no things, let's say. Yeah. This is duality. This is it. Yeah. Act, react. Yeah. So now the seeing gets claimed, the seer is implied, and now the seer is the doing of all the seeing. Yeah, that's it. You want to emphasize it, it can go on. You know, that one note produces tons of other songs, but don't get lost in the songs. Just go to the notes. Yeah, see what's happening. You are there. You are here. Actually, you're here before anything else is here. Yeah. When something comes up, you're already here. When something goes, you don't. Yeah. You're here completely. Before anything comes up and goes away, you're here. Yeah. Us, all of us. As not us, but as what we are. We're here. Yeah. You can't be fooled by a tenant saying they're the master of the house. You were there before the tenant showed up. You're here completely. Yeah. Trying to be here as what you're not is fool's gold. Yeah. Just recognize you're not that and you'll get a true sense. You'll never get gypped here. Never. You're here completely. Sleeping, awake, always. Yeah. You won't be, oh, I missed out on. You're not missing shit. Yeah. You're the seeing of everything. So you don't arrive there. You already are. So how are you going to get, how is there going to be a recognition of it? We only recognize shit by leaving and going back. Yeah. We know things by remembering them. Yeah. This is different. You can't know what always is. You can't remember what's never forgotten. You can't. Yeah. There's got to be another way. So the way in this is to see what you're not. And there'll be a whack of what you are. It won't take any time to arrive already there. Yeah. You see what you're not, and you get an intimation of what you are. What you are in that event is the seeing of what you're not. That's what it is. So maybe, oh, wait a minute, when is it going to stabilize? One thing is, probably before it ever stabilizes, there'll be a great loss. A great loss of interest in the hope of it stabilizing. That's what will happen. The liberation is from the need to be liberated. You just lose interest in all of it. You do. You just lose interest, and then you're here. Completely here, without any methodology or techniques. You're here. You're not sweating. It's not like a workout commercial. Oh, I'm here. I went through a lot to get here. No, you're here. There's no work to get here. But now you see the building of what you used to look from. Yeah. You see the emptiness of the floorboards, the FLOOR, that you never saw while you thought you were standing on it. You see the manufacture of self. You see it, yeah? Not as self, because there isn't one. You see it. And then it triggers a lot more seeing. Well, there's not more seeing, there's seeing more. There's not more seeing, but they're seeing more. And then a lot of the misunderstandings that you had no idea that traveled with you with all these amazing spiritual journeys and shit like that, and was there when you had an epiphany, because it came in and said, I'm having an epiphany. And then the epiphany usually ended at that moment, and there you were the one who had the epiphany. And then you went on and on. You're before all that. You start recognizing the false master when it starts strolling into the house, yeah? Instead of calling it me, you check its papers. Well, you check its papers. Yeah. Look at PK. I like that look, PK. It looked like you saw someone stealing your pumpkin pie. All right, Mike, anyone else?
Yeah, Gary under the stairs has his hand up. You've been breaking up some for me though.
No,
Gary?
he's from the corner.
No, he's under the stairs now.
Yes, Gary's under the stairs. I'm Harry Potter.
Oh, he's under the stairs.
Yeah.
But hey, just Gary, were you hearing him break up too, or was that?
I lost the audio there of Paul for a while.
Okay, so
sorry.
not it's we haven't lost anything significant, but just check with me, maybe. But yeah, go ahead, Gary.
All right, thanks.
I mean, I thought it was significant. Who knows? But
No, I mean it was starting to drag. We didn't actually lose anything except
There
maybe
was
the
a few gaps for me where the sound stopped. Anyway, I wanted to say that it occurred to me while you're talking that the beauty of that, you're saying it's automatic, it's the volition thing, it just goes on. The beauty of hearing that is that there's nothing for me to do. Thank God, I don't have to stop it. Oh, it's going on, and I don't have to stop it. That's what it does.
yeah,
I can kind of kick back from that, which, you know, normally would be, oh, I better get on the stick. I gotta correct something that's going off. So that's one thing I wanted to comment on. It's like, well, that's good. You can catch the horse right out of the starting gate. You don't have to go all the way around the track and say, well, that was a long ways to go for nothing.
yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah, so I appreciated that comment. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is like a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine died, and I have, but there's been feelings of grief and sadness that have gone along with that. But I also noticed that somewhere in there, this process that you're talking about.
I think it's him now.
Are you still there?
No.
You're not moving for me. I don't know. Yeah.
I lost you with your friend died.
Yeah. My friend died. And I think this process crept in there. There was some
Disappeared
natural.
then. Am I still there?
Yeah, you're not.
You want to try turning your video off while Gary talks, Paul, and see if that helps you?
Go ahead, Gary, if you can.
Okay, we'll see. I could turn mine off too, if that would help. I don't
No,
know.
because it's his end.
Okay. So yeah, my friend died a couple of weeks ago, and there's been, you know, natural, sad, kind of happy, sad, grieving But I noticed some of this claim.
Gary,
Yeah.
he disappeared, I think. Oh, no, he's down there.
He's gone.
Come in and out.
I'm here now.
Have
Yeah.
some connection problems.
You want to turn your video
All right,
off for a
Gary.
second, Paul?
My video?
And see if that helps your connection.
I'm going to try. It's not letting me get there.
Okay, it's black now. Are you there?
Testing 1,
Hold
2,
on.
3, 4,
5, 6, 7.
7, 8. Lay them
Did you-
straight.
Paul, did you catch all those numbers?
No.
No. Yeah.
Very choppy.
I can hear Gary. Yeah.
Well, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you hear all of those?
Yep.
Okay. I'll try one more
Cutting the
time.
video. Yes, I could. Yeah.
All right. So, but what I noticed in the midst of all those sad feelings, which seemed very natural and okay, there's this thought process that says, now I have to grieve, or I have to cure, I have to complete this. This really, I don't know, some whole thing about death, you know, and then got into I have to die now, and death is symbolic of the resurrection that has to happen, and but it just seemed a little convoluted. It's sort of like what you're talking about. It was the claiming of something natural that was going on that was really another, you know, a long way around a short path. It was a natural process.
You're
That's all.
dying.
It didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I'm losing you, or I'm losing everyone.
Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to invite you to, I don't know if the topic of death or the claiming of grieving or any of that has any meaning for you, you could riff on that. I just noticed there can be that claiming even in the midst of grieving, which is, you know, somehow I thought would be outside of the, you know, couldn't be claimed, but it can be too.
Well, yes. Well, that was a misunderstanding. Whatever's happening can be claimed to imply you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is just a fortification of the understanding. So, and before you didn't even see the claiming, probably.
No.
So it's sort
No.
of like you were living in a house, and then you went to Zillow or something, and it says your square footage is 4,000 square feet, and you've been only living in 1,200 square feet because you didn't know any better. Yeah.
Mm.
So now you just move back and you see more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Notice
And
the
it's
process.
going to claim no matter what. It's not personal. It's not a personal act. It's nature. It's mechanicalness is, let's say consciousness brings it into contact. It claims the contact and turns it into a narration based on this mental idea. Yeah. That wherever there's got to be a noun to be found. Yeah. Yes. Remember in Hinduism, they used to speak about it. You know, there's consciousness, and then the head starts giving name to form. And then there you go. Yes. Now everything is named, and you lose the essence of the thing by the name you gave it. Yeah. So, yes. So this is the idea of verb and noun. The dilemma with verb and noun is we see it as noun and verb. That's the dilemma. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could see it verb and noun, it's incredibly clear. But the dilemma is we live from the other aspect of noun and verb. Yeah. It's just a given that I'm the doer of everything. Yeah. This happens I come from recovery as an action figure, and in that field, I could see the sense of doership withstand so much evidence contrary to its story. Yeah. Just constantly keep cultivating and harvesting guilt and shame based on you being the doer of stuff you did not do. You were taken over by an addiction, yes, and you were dancing with a gorilla, and you were going to stop when the gorilla wanted to stop. You would think that would bring some relief, but the stubbornness of the doer idea will override that and keep harvesting guilt and shame based on what you did under the influence, when yet you have no power to go any other way. Yes? That's all rooted in the sense of doership. The sense of doership has the volition. What would happen if you weren't the one that was doing it? Whose life would it be anyway?
I don't know.
So you see, something is attributed not through the doing, the claiming of the doing, but the emphasis is the doer. You see, that's the whole story. The whole story of you as the doer is that you could have done something else. Or you should have done something else. Yes?
Yeah.
So this isn't observation. You're not observing doing. There's a claiming of the doing to the doer, and then you're observing the doer with the eyes of volition, and you shouldn't have done it. Yes? Even though you had no say in it, you were on a run for drugs and alcohol, the head still observes you as the doer and says you shouldn't have done it. Yeah. And now after 33 years of recovery from alcoholism, you haven't recovered from the doership, the guilt and shame from that behavior of 33 years ago. You're still living under that weather front. That's all identification as doer. The doer mixed with volition. Yeah. The head doesn't see if something was supposed to happen, it happened. And if something wasn't supposed to happen, it didn't. It doesn't see that. It says you're the main card of how the game goes. Yeah. You did shit that you shouldn't have done. Where does that come from? Volition. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not you that has volition. There's a volition that makes up a you. That's unbearable to live with in time, because you're going to do some crazy shit and you're going to step on people's toes and things may go really, really bad. Like in our area here, Amelia's knows that these kids just got killed, these twins, in a car accident. 16 years old. One of them's dead. The other one's critical, and another one died. And I think they were getting loaded. Could you imagine that kid who didn't die, the one twin, when he wakes up, having the sense of being the doer, and he survived and his brother died? Yeah. And then the guy who drove the car was another brother. How are they going to, they're going to have great like family reunions? They're going to be, that other brother's going to be looked at as the doer, and he did this fucking thing. Yes. Look at all the shit that can come out of that. Yeah. You can't be free from the doing as a doer. There's no freedom there. You know how many people, it takes them years to get to a point of forgiveness of the other. They never forgive themselves, but they may forgive the other. They see, all right, the person didn't mean it and this and like that. Years, maybe. Yes. Yeah. But the doer, its whole story is that you had a choice not to do what you were doing. Yes?
Yes.
This is what happens when people hear the message. They think, well, if I'm not the doer, I'm just going to lay on a couch all day. It's all volition, right? That's an echo of volition, thinking, well, I would just choose to lay on a couch all day and not do shit. Yeah. Or I'm going to drop acid when I leave this meeting. You're not going to drop acid probably, but this is what you think, because this idea is, if this was the truth, I'd have volition. I just wouldn't do shit. There's no volition. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's
But
just
we
a
live
happening.
we live under an interpretation of it, and it's producing unbelievable weight.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes. So let's start before everything, because you're not gonna catch up after. Yeah. You're not gonna get free from the doing as a doer. It's not gonna happen. There's too much dead weight there. It's just gonna drag and drag and drag. Yeah.
Yeah.
But before the doer, there was just doing. And then before that is us. Yeah. Maybe you could see the doer from what you are, instead of looking as the doer at what you've done. Yeah. Maybe you could do it that way.
Yeah. Lately, I've noticed there's a sense of, you've said this so many times, but I felt a sense of, wow, there really can be verbing without a noun. There really is stuff that goes on without a doer of the stuff that goes on. That's really, yeah, and it's not a problem.
And Gary, seeing this doesn't mean you as Gary gets it. Seeing it doesn't translate as Gary getting everything.
Yeah.
Gary is not going to be the all-seeing eye.
Gary's
going to be things. Gary's going to be a thing seen from the all-seeing eye. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
This is not I've heard before the doer. I heard the idea of doing. But now the doer is claimed, and now the doer wants to get out of the doer. Yeah. It doesn't fucking work. Yes?
Yeah.
It doesn't. I've seen it. So before everything is where the freedom lies. Truly. Yeah? We're in Rome. You got to do what the Romans do. Yeah? You can't go to a court. There's not a precedent in law that there is no person. Yeah, you're not going to go to court and yes, that I didn't kill the person, but you shot him. Yes, there was a shooting of him, but I didn't do it. It just doesn't work. Yes. Yes. Yeah. But seeing it all, you can see the manufactured programming that's not going to budge. Yeah. The lightness doesn't come from that program. The lightness is infused in it. Yeah. It loosens it. It lightens it. Yeah. So you can travel lighter as the action figure. But it's not from the action figure. And it's not the action figure getting it. It's moving through like everything else. Yes. You finally start seeing shit about you, not as you. You start seeing shit about you, not as you. Yeah. And then you watch the head try to claim the seeing and the knowledge, and you don't bite. Let it go on its way, thinking it knows something. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
So there's not a temple in the world that the mental state will not claim something in. Not one temple. Yeah. Not one altitude. Maybe if you go over 20,000 feet, it may not happen. I don't know. Maybe at the depth of the ocean, it could work, but I wouldn't hold your breath. Yes. Just see it as not you, and there's no volition behind it. You're not doing it. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Thanks.
See. Yeah.
Thanks, Gary. You ready for Judith?
I'm never ready for Judith. Go ahead.
Oh, sure you are. You're always ready for Judith.
Hi, Paul. Thank you. Thank you for the talk. My question is death and the observer of death manufactured also?
Well, if you die, you're not going to be observing your death.
Right. No,
will.
I understand that.
Yeah. You're not
Yeah, but
going to
then
experience your death. Other people.
Even in that, other people observing my death, is that all the manufacture is part of the machinery?
Well, yeah, you didn't die, honey, because you weren't born. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Something seemed to have been built and something seemed to eroded. Yeah. Yes. Remember that statement? Dust to dust. Yes. Da 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 da. Yeah.
Right. Right.
But we're the context. I mean, there was no coming, going in us, honey. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. So, yeah.
Right. So I wonder why is it that the mental state can't see death as actually life, just life.
It just can't, honey. It doesn't have those eyes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's programmed. It's programmed to support certain things. And one of the things it doesn't support is death. Yeah. It likes to avoid that.
Yeah.
The thing that's talking to me is more like a voice box, you know? It believes it's going to take off when the body dies and it's going to do something else. It's going to end with the body.
I hope so.
Yeah. At the moment of death, he'll probably be thinking of something else and he'll miss the death. Yeah. I practiced all these years for this moment, and then a mosquito bites you. What? And you passed away, and you got distracted by the mosquito. You missed it. You missed the moment of transition.
Darn mosquito.
Can you imagine that you've been listening to your head your whole life, and then you're going to stop suddenly, and then you're dying, and then the head tells you at the last second, you really blew it. Do you end on that note? Just come to sense, you know, that thing of Hoang Po, whatever can be perceived can't be perceiving. Yes, so very simple. Yeah. So then look at the narrative in the head. The narrative in the head is completely on that which can be perceived is perceiving. It's completely the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
So it believes that the perceiving is going to end, or that which perceiving is going to end when the body does, because it believes the body is the perceiving. But a very clear correction by Hoang Po was whatever can be perceived can't be perceiving. Yeah. So that which is going to end isn't going to end that which is perceiving. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because that which is perceiving has no beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
There you go. So,
Yeah. I've seen that
yeah.
my body has been dead for a very long time, that the only thing alive in it doesn't even know that it has a body. But the
Yes.
programming goes on. It goes on and says there's a Judith with many things to do, but it's just, I can just see that it's just the movie reeling, the movie that started reeling. Who knows? Maybe
Yes.
even prior to conception, but um, yeah, and I mean, I wanted enlightenment and to be awakened as much as, oh God, a lot. And so, but since I've been listening to you, all those desires have gone away, because I realized that the body doesn't need it, and my true nature definitely doesn't need it, because it's oceanic, it's everywhere. And listening to you has given me that oceanic feeling, that infinite ocean feeling. So I can't pinpoint myself anymore, but I see, the stuff that Gary talks about in some of the questions here, and I see the beauty in it all, and also the fact that none of those questions belong to us, pertain to us. It just pertains to just trying to get clearer, or finding the right point that will destroy the point that we've been carrying around, which is so tiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what happened with me as this experience, acceptance flooded in.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. It was sort of the closest memory I had of it was from my grandmother when I was growing up. And acceptance that you could do no wrong, no matter if there was wrong done. Yeah, it's just very beautiful. And it's showing back up, revealed that I hadn't been breathing in and out of acceptance for many, many years. Yes, I was like an urban renewal project with a lot of demands to get better and to go improve. And it was just a slavery. Yeah.
Right.
And while life was happening, I was missing it with the hopes of getting to the higher, more golden life. I just saw it as insane. Yeah. So that urban renewal project was canceled, and that interest and attention that was getting funneled in that direction got dispersed, and it really enriches my day now. Yeah. It's not shooting for a goal. It's been let off the leash. It's just diffuse, and like in Duck Chen, they talk about it as relaxed awareness. It's sort of like that. Yeah. It's not being driven by time. It's not going anywhere. It's not trying to get back to anything. It just is attentive to what's happening. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
The highest of highs.
Yeah. And all the uniforms were put away. All the running outfits, the spiritual running, and so all that's been put away, given the goodwill. Yeah. So yeah, I have faith. Like a friend of mine's very much into a master named Nisargadatta Maharaj. Yeah.
I love him.
He's from India, and I to go to the I Am That book.
Yeah, you remind me of him. You remind me of him so much. But of course, both of you are the same pointer, and I thought I missed out on him in a royal way, and then I found you, and I'm so grateful for your appearance.
Oh, well, hope the best I could do would be called Mini Niz.
You're
Mini
funny.
Niz. That would be the greatest compliment. But his sense was he heard satsang and it hit somewhere. And then there was faith in that. And that was his rock. It was just that simple. Yeah. Now, what happens if it isn't that clear? You can see the faith and where it's placed. Yeah. You now have the eyes to see and then tell the truth. And that faith will be moved into something that's worthy of faith, so to speak. Yes. It will move. Yeah. So the non-duality understanding is to really bring up the misunderstandings and to have them in the light. And then you don't need to do a giant dissertation. You'll see what you see. Yeah. You'll see what you see and you'll know what's happening down the road, and you'll be feeling lighter and less interested in transcending and arriving at the 11th sphere or whatever. You'll just be here, and there'll be a joy living. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to go anywhere, not a bad way to go, happy, joyous, and free, so to speak. Yeah. Instead of hell-bent on finding, I'd much rather be happy, joyous, and free from the need to be liberated, free from fucking, there's a higher goal that this moment must be used to move towards. No. All there is this, and there you are. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. You realize you never changed the dance partner. Yeah, it's always been the beloved the whole time. Yeah. So
true.
Thanks, Judith. I'm looking
Thank
forward
you.
to it. Where's the virtual reality? You got to have a cottage back there.
Pretty soon, Paul.
All right.
Pretty
That's
soon.
good, honey.
Oh, I love you. Thank
Remember,
you so much.
St. John coming first. St. John as Zerbal's coming first. So
Yeah.
he's gonna he's gonna report back. Yeah. I expect to have his head on a platter when I get there.
Sounds good. Not a problem.
All right, thank you.
We
Yes.
chop
With a
heads around here.
pineapple.
Oh, I love you.
With a
Thank you, Paul.
pineapple. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, remember, she's not going to have water, so I'll need to be the one pouring water over your head.
Oh, no, actually, we got it. Everything is
Oh,
coming
see, I knew
together.
it.
Everything is coming together.
I
It's
knew
so fantastic. I'm just so grateful. Everybody's looking out for me.
Oh, great. Yes,
Yeah.
great, honey.
It's great. Yeah. Thank you.
Very. Anyone else there? PK, come on, wake up.
He's more awake
Anu,
than-
you're in India. Anu, can she hear me? You got a haircut, Anu, eh?
No, I just had it up.
Oh, you have it up. It's looking good. Looking good.
Yeah, I'm coming
Nice.
back next week. Maybe I'll drive up and see you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll be here till February 8th. Then we're going to be seeing Judith, hopefully. So yeah, come on up. Yeah, just let me know. Give me a call. Anyone else?
I was going to mention for myself how much I've loved when you put it as what we are is already successful, as consciousness and contact, and that how call it faith, right? That while I am enjoying, the feeling of my fingers on cloth or the air on my skin or the feet on the floor, I can actually enjoy it, and without that 5 seconds later it's like, oh no, that can't be enough, that kind of thing. so yes. That's why I like the way you phrase that, and not that the selfing can not try to take advantage of that, like, oh, I'm gonna feel my feet on the ground and that's gonna make it work. I don't mean that, but but just, you know, when people worry about whether, quote unquote, this is going to work, you know, like, you know, there's not really a fire burning, but you know, but the body has, but I think I might have PTSD or whatever, right? And you just get really concerned about whether you should be treating things that way versus, that's why I use the word faith, is like, maybe it's a really long-term thing, just like in the dreaming, there's the repetition, you know, of being a name or being an addict, you know, or having problems. So maybe there's going to be a seeming long-term experience of like, no, it's okay just to, you know, feel my butt on the chair and to just have that be a long-term possibility, you know, kind of like what you say with service. It's, you know, it's your attention's off the assumed problem. So, you know, can it not just be a nice story that, oh, good, you know, the rest of my life, I'm, you know, gonna repeat the simplicity of, you know, feeling the air on my skin and nothing else, nothing more, you know, I'm not going to be a better relationship person or have better hobbies to talk to people about or whatever, right? So I was just wanted to say something about that out loud.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Yeah, it's almost as if you're given a permission that you didn't need, but there's a permission that, yeah, you don't have to be.
And to be able to give that to other people in a sense, right? Like just in the present, like see
Completely.
possibly, yeah, yeah, and that's enough for me to give. That's enough for me to be loving. Right?
Completely, yeah. I mean, what? I mean, if you could play the role of, you know, hey, if someone wants to give permission through me, far out. You know, I want them. I'd like to see them travel lighter, if possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I can't. It's real, like living is tough to describe. Yeah. Real living of things. Yes. Not where you were or what you did, but just living. There's such I used to always be amazed. I used to practice Tai Chi in the park in San Francisco. And every Tuesday, this monk would come and he would just walk around this little area for years. Yeah. Now I would say with the mind he had, probably he was alive. He didn't have to go to a new trail every week. Yeah. He could take the same trail every day and it was new. Yeah. Because his mind is alive and new. Yeah. I remember when I lived in Mill Valley, I used to walk on this trail thousands of times behind the library. I couldn't tell anyone, well, I drove 5 miles and I got to this trail. No, it was just right behind the library. Just walk for 45 minutes, see new shit every time. You know, lots of woodpeckers and stuff. It was awesome. Yeah. Quite convenient. Saved a lot of gas. I didn't have to have a story. So, yeah, this is sort of I don't know why, but a lot of us need a permission to live, really. This little fucking thing up there playing God withholds a permission to live. It has to say, you got to be worthy of it. You got to jump through these hoops. You got to get yes, it's like slavery. So this is a permission not to become okay, but be okay. Yeah. Yeah, it is really. I mean, what greater school pass would be being ourselves reality? I mean, that's a great pass. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then it's and to be like inspired to give, not to give others the permission as though they need it, but as part of the you know, like the Course in Miracles says, that's how it'll show up that way to further cement that you have permission yourself. that kind of thing.
Yes, it's the holy, like the holy relationship. Yes, so you're gonna, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Because otherwise you're stuck on me having, I need to get permission, and then it doesn't matter how much permission you give me. I'm never going to believe it.
Yes. No, it's like, yeah, this is not a, well, whatever. That might, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else? This Susanna W.
She's waving.
Carrie from Hawaii, yes. Yeah, we'll be using your bathroom soon, Carrie. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, yeah. I never know where I'm going to be from day to day, but yeah, it's an adventure.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I'll see you definitely. Yeah, for sure. I'm picking you up at the airport, Paul. In my Toyota
good.
Camry. Yeah.
We can see your palm trees
Good.
silhouetted behind you. That's cool.
We both are picking you up, Paul.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no one else will have.
Driving
We'll
Miss
say
Judith.
goodbye.
Peace.
What'd you say, Carrie?
You want to say?
I said I'm driving Miss Judith
Mm.
to get.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes. It'll be nice. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Amelia, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
Oh, look at Amy.
Oh. You kiss.
All right. Let's say goodbye to Amelia. Mike, nice to see you again, as always. I'll see you Saturday, right? What's Wednesday? Yeah. All right. We got Robert French, New Zealand. Always a pleasure, Robert. Anu, looking forward to seeing you. We got William L. Yes, there he is. Nice to see you, Will. Clifford in Chiang Mai. There he goes. Chris G. He's in front of the little door. Yeah. That's only thin men can get into the heaven's door there. Yeah. It's very small. We got who's this? Steve from Germany. Nice to see you. Yeah, can you hear me? I hope so. Yeah? Oh, good. We got Kenneth from Vancouver. Nice to see you, Kenneth. Johannes, Germany. Nice. Gary from under the stairs. He's moved from the corner to the stairs. That's good. We got Nick. Nice to meet you, Nick. See you there. Geo Traveler. Geo.
That's George from Tahoe, Craig's friend.
Oh, George, my old friend George. Yeah. How are you, man? All's well?
Yeah, guess what? I'm gonna move to Thailand next month.
Oh, you are? Wow, great.
So
Well,
I'll
are
be
you going to
seeing.
be up in Chiang Mai?
I'm gonna be in Phuket for a while,
Oh, all right. Yeah, I know Phuket. Yeah.
and then Krabi, and yeah.
I know
might
that
come
place
down,
too. Yeah.
I might.
They have-
When are you leaving to Hawaii?
February 8th.
I was gonna come down and see Craig before I leave.
Yeah, call me up. Do you have my number still?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the
Let me-
same number. Yeah.
Let me check my phone. Sorry. Sorry to turn this into a personal conversation.
All right. I'll say hello to others while you're waiting. So
Thank
there's
you.
David. Nice to see you, David, from Melbourne.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Paul. Thank you.
Nice to see you, Dave. Thanks for the report. I can't, well, whatever. Nice to hear from you. William H. Susanna W. Yes. Kerry, again, PK. We got, as I say, we got Dennis. I haven't seen Dennis in a long time. Nice to see you, Dennis. All's well? Very good, very good. We got, is this Angie? Angie? Yes. Yeah,
Hi.
I think so. Nice to meet you, Angie. We got Tej. Nice to see you again, Tej, as always. We got Stefan on Having Never Left. Let's see. We got Geo, George from Tahoe, now Phuket. Judith, still inhabiting a tent. Yeah. We got David. I said hello to these. We got Deborah from Alberta. Nice to see you, Deborah. Sue, Kay, Alan, O, JP from Vietnam, Miss Amelia from the kitchen. Let's see. I think that's it. Hey, it's a pleasure. Thanks for yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I have to.
I heard her.
I had to make an announcement. By the way, the group is going to, if everything works out, we're going to have an event in Italy in September this year.
Wow.
Down in Puglia, which is where it's sort of like on the east coast at the heel of it, beautiful coastal area. We're renting a big, well, if we get enough people, we're renting this like a big place with a huge pool in the country, not far from the ocean, and near a town called Lecce, which is called the Florence of the South. It's a beautiful city. And we're gonna have like 6 days talks. Everything will be, there's gonna be food and excursions. I mean, the whole thing. Have some, yeah, it's pretty nice. So Amelia will explain it to you. It's on the website. She'll give you information. We're gonna have more up, and if enough people show interest, then we'll go ahead and do it. And if not, we'll have a Zoom in September or something. So Amelia's really stoked. She's from there and she's working hard. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. We were just there last September. The coast is incredible. We're gonna go to these caves you can go swimming in and everything. It's quite nice. So that's up, and that I just did my familial duty, and now I can say goodnight. Nice to see everyone. PK, nice to see you, my friend. Everybody, Judith, Angie, Dennis, see you. Bye-bye.